G'day, ZiggyD here. The Fallout 76 beta is only days away, and unfortunately, it's going to have a rather limited playtime, being blocked out into sessions of just 4 to 8 hours long. As such, I wanted to share my list of quick tips to help you guys get the most out of your time in the beta. First up, the Pip-boy menu will not pause time, so I highly recommend swapping to the Quick Boy mode, which is much faster and gives you greater visibility. You'll probably never use the old ARM Pip-boy mode again once you make the swap. So that you don't spend your first 15 minutes running around punching things, there are 2 corpses just outside the vault entrance, one of which contains a gun and the other a melee weapon. Make sure not to miss these, or things might be a little bit boring at the start. On the topic of melee is super strong in Fallout 76's early game. Ammo is a valuable resource and low-level enemies are not that dangerous. So don't be afraid to equip a melee weapon and just go to town on enemies. You'll save a lot of ammo doing this, and you'll kill things quite quickly. On that note, it's not a bad idea to invest your first few special points into strength and pick up a few levels in the Gladiator perk for increased melee damage with one-handed weapons. As far as builds are concerned, if you want to pre-plan your build, then there is a handy build planner that I'll link in the description below. It won't have all of the perks until the beta is live, but it has a decent selection of the early game options and can get you started. On a related topic, Charisma is a useful stat for both solo and group play. If you're mostly going to be playing with friends, you can even get boosted XP while in a group with the inspirational perk. Or if solo is more to your taste, then don't look past the valuable Lone Wanderer for reduced damage taken and increased AP regen. A few points in Charisma are going to be worth it on pretty much any build, I think. Now, crafting is a huge part of Fallout 76. You can craft weapons and armor from scratch now, as well as mods, chems, and ammo. As such, scrap and resources are needed in huge supply. Make sure to pick up as much junk from around the world as possible. Junk itself is a liability though, as it both has a carry weight and can be dropped on death. As such, whenever you come across a workbench, use it to scrap all your carried junk. Get into the habit of doing this often, and your crafting and exploring will go much more smoothly. On that note, Intelligence has a built-in bonus that increases the rewards from scrapping as well as improving the condition of crafted gear. So, investment in intelligence may be worth it even before you consider the available perks. In addition to the plants you can harvest about the world of Fallout 76, now the game has raw resources you can also collect. Mineral veins and fallen logs just look like a part of the environment, but if you interact with them, you'll get valuable resources for crafting and building. Wood especially is needed in large quantities for building early on, so make sure to hit up those logs. Blue Vault Tech Stash boxes act as a global banking system for your loot. Stash unneeded items whenever you come across one, and you can also build one at your camp. You'll also find some of them at Red Rocket truck stops. You can access anything you've stashed from any of these boxes. This next tip actually comes straight from the developers themselves. Although you may wish to avoid the main quest for a while, or maybe you want to avoid it in the beta, it is recommended that you at least follow it until Flatwoods. The main quest will give you early access to some useful tools for your journey, and an early step in that quest actually takes you to a little crafting station and has a good collection of supplies for you to use. The world of Fallout 76 is chock full of points of interest to explore. To help you find them, you can use survey points. These will reveal on your map all the points of interest in the area. There's actually one atop a ranger tower directly south of Vault 76, so make sure to use it to get an early lead on those exploration points. Blueprints found about the world and off enemies will unlock many crafting recipes, but you will actually unlock most mods for each weapon type by salvaging that weapon. So it's actually worth picking up all those random weapons and salvaging them for resources and mod recipes. If you want to pimp out your pipe pistol, for example, then you'll need to salvage a bunch of pipe weapons. Now, ammo has weight in Fallout 76, so make sure to stash any ammo you're carrying that you're not actually using, or else you'll find yourself over-encumbered. Being over-encumbered stops you from fast traveling, and it drains your AP when you move, so you definitely want to be avoiding that. Now, as I talked about in a previous video, workshops are a very powerful way of acquiring crafting resources, but they take time to realize their value. If you want to capture and hold a workshop, then do it at the beginning of your play session for the day. Otherwise, you'll just be investing caps and time into something that you won't have a chance to pay off for you. If you'd like to learn more about the workshop system and how it works, be sure to check out my workshop guide. Most points of interest, or groups of enemies, will have a boss, which is represented with a crown above their name. Make sure to kill and loot these as they have a lot more loot and a much higher chance at rare and powerful gear. Even a giant tick could have a shotgun if it's a boss. On the topic of gear, gear has levels in Fallout 76. Now while this may restrict you from using some items for a while, it also means that you can find higher level versions of your favourite weapons, so keep an eye out for upgrades. While looting around other players, note that enemy corpses and containers all have instanced loot, which means that each player can loot them independently. Items scattered about the world, however, are not instanced, so grab them first before anyone else can, you greedy little bastards. If you or another player dies, all carried junk will be dropped in a brown paper bag. You can return to where you died to collect your junk if no one else has grabbed it first, and you could of course try and grab other people's junk. Fallout 76's map is 4 times the size of Fallout 4's, so it's pretty big. Don't be afraid to use fast travel as a result. Fast traveling to discovered locations will cost you caps, but fast travel to your party members, Vault 76, and your camp are all free. To take advantage of this, you can place your camp in a central location to where you plan on exploring, even if you're not planning on building anything there, and then you can use it for free fast travel to go to different locations. And finally, a fun little tip, there's a minigun at the top of the world, but it's just sitting there and not in a container, so make sure to get there before anyone else does. I hope this helps you guys have a good time in the beta. Catch me on Twitch or YouTube for both Xbox and PC betas, and feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments below. That's it for now, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.